The S&P 500, the Nasdaq 100, that's what we're talking about today. And the S&P, the SPY, is going absolutely nuts. The stock market, I'm telling you right now, I think that guy, the other guy, not Jesus, the other guy up there, Santa Claus, I think he's coming to town, baby. So when we look at this action, let's talk about it. So the first thing we're looking at is 15.4. That's been our level, like over and over coming into this level. Every one yesterday, which I couldn't make a video. I had family stuff. Sorry, couldn't make a video yesterday, but I'll have a video for you tomorrow to make up for that, to go over specifically just plays and kind of fundamental stuff. So again, you're welcome. I'll make up for it. Now, when we look at, or it might come out Sunday. I'm debating how I'm going to do it. So anyways, we come to this level, dip down last night, and then we're automatically overnight, we're getting a little bit of love, getting bounced, and we kind of come back into 15.4. Okay. Then we push straight through it. Now, what I want to talk to you about specifically here before we go too far into anything is volume, right? Now, if you don't know our volume indicator here, we have a custom script. The link is down below, chart prime down below if you're interested to see what's happening here. Yesterday, you saw a lot of sellers step in, and I was talking this in Discord and on live earlier, right? Sellers stepped in heavy yesterday with volume. Some of the best volume that you've had in probably 7-8 days, right? Going back to the beginning of November. But immediately at open, right, on SPY in particular, if you go to SPY, it gets really clear and easy to see, right? You gap up and you start pushing up, okay? And from there, I think bulls have maintained control. I think the number one thing that we've been seeing, if we go to the 4-hour chart that paints a really pretty picture here, is sellers keep trying to step in over and over, multiple days here, and you're constantly just getting bought back up. The same thing could be said when we were pushing to the downside. Buyers would try to get us to bounce, but we wouldn't get the necessary things we needed to continue to the upside, right? And that's what's taking place, just inverted here. So what do? All of our levels that we've mentioned, they've all been here for us, right? So we zoom in just a little bit. We're gonna go to the 1 hour so you can see. We mount above 438. You can go to the 5 minute to see a little bit more clear. Very crystal clear what you want to see textbook. Push, break, retest, break back up. Perfect. Now we're going into 441. Okay. Now I wouldn't even say 441 is a major level on here on the daily. It's not. Your next major level coming in is going to be around 444. That's going to be the big breakout point going even further on SPY. And I think right now, majority of the love we're getting is here on NQ. Now NQ, the next level I have here is locally 15.7. I have to make this video a little bit before market closes, so we might even hit that today. But that's where I'm looking at and where we're going to go. 15.7, 15.67, give or take, this range right here. That's what you're looking at. But on the broad market as we look here, very bullish, right? Clear bull flag, 200 SMA, we bounce, we look very good. And to give you the best perspective, XLK, right? The tech ETF, right? Which are some of our biggest names, Apple, Microsoft, Google, etc. Go down the list, right? And this, if you go to the weekly, we all want to disprove it, but it's the best cup and handle that's out there. It is XLK. And you're about ready to break all-time highs again and rip towards 200. I'm just saying. Now, before I go into anything else, I'd ask you to do two things. Consider liking and subscribing. It helps out tons, and I appreciate all the support from you guys. Every single day, I usually make a video here, Monday through Friday, bare minimum. Something came up with my family, so I just couldn't do it yesterday. I'm sorry. But I have a lot of tweets and a lot of pictures on Twitter of going over things you should be looking at as well, right? Meta, one of my top stocks. Remember AMD, I called out for you guys. This thing's up over 50% now for March positions. AVGO called that out as well for you guys. So I try to keep you guys as updated as possible. Although Discord is sold out right now, I still want to provide value to you guys in the best way possible. So make sure you're following there. Now, again, I want to highlight right now, if you are looking at what's happening in the market and you want to see some of these indicators that we're looking at, for again, if you don't have the best viewpoint of what's happening with supply and demand, our chart prime indicator will help you tremendously. The link is down below. I'm gonna have a little bit of background noise. They're fixing something here, so just bear with me. So this is where we're at, and this is how we're moving. Okay, now number one, VIX. Clearly still going down, going back down to those all-time high territories. You go to the weekly, you can see pushing back down towards 13. The biggest thing you're going to watch this week is going to be this, the DXY. The DXY yesterday, really nice drop over the past few days, kind of pushing down, right? But then we kind of started bouncing back to the upside, coming back into our support of 105.88, the key level there mentioned. It was also mentioned on Twitter. Now, what do we see here from today? This is what you want to see. You're rejecting, you're basing or rejecting, right? That is what you want to see. A break, retest, break. So what are you seeing to the downside? Break, retest, hopefully pushing back down. Below 104.7 is absolute confirmation, what you want to see there. Okay, going a step further, we go into oil, still showing weakness, still pulling back on there on the 2 hour, below the 200 SMA. And again, you're getting the same thing. Break, retest, hopefully push back down to the 200 SMA. Okay. Now we're going to go to oil here in a second as well because we have CPI and PPI coming up. But we look at the yields as well, right? Yields yesterday, we're still pulling back. 30-year, really pulling back. We want to see the 2 and 5 years start to pull back as well. But these are what we really want to watch. You had your auctions and all that stuff. Everyone was talking about the mumbo jumbo. But we really saw no real recovery on yields. It's important to realize that. When you zoom out to higher time frames, it is very, very, very clear when we look here. And we want to see that continue, and that will continue if this plays out as expected. So going into this, that is crazy. Old school RuneScape is being advertised to me. But if we go in here next week, CPI is going to be Tuesday. PPI is going to be Wednesday. Very important. That's the biggest things that will be coming out of this. That's the main thing you need to be watching. Again, Tuesday, CPI, Wednesday, PPI. Now I'm going to tell you right now, something important that the Fed has been telling us, something important that Powell has been really trying to hammer home to us, is we have 2 data readings before our next rate decision. Okay. Now I want to highlight here the thing that really pushed inflation down from the months of basically June through September. Okay. Was basically you got demolished on oil. Oil just kept going down to lows and lows and lows and grinding towards 66. Okay. Similar action is happening here that we've basically had from ending of September to now. And I think it's going to start being reflected on that data finally. So we need to kind of be prepared there. I'm not going to say data is going to absolutely smash or destroy because I don't know the effects that like the UAW strike had, but it looks good. I think housing will start to drop as well as we go into the winter months. And it just seems like those things are going to be the good. It seems like those are going to be good viewpoints for us. And that kind of did as well the first time around. So those are things that I'm looking for here. And I'm just trying, I don't want to do too much guessing there. But I do want to use what we used last time to hopefully give us a better prediction or a better assumption of what's going to happen there. Okay. Now, the important thing here to know is this right here. You are above your key level now. And I'm going to tell you right now, going into this week, I am incredibly bullish. I am very, very optimistic about this coming week. I think we're going to get a test of 15.6, 15.7. That's going to be coming pretty quick. But 15.4 here is it was a brick wall, people. So what I'd be looking for, potentially if we have any type of downside, is a retest. If we retest and bounce off that, you are incredible. I don't even know if that's going to happen, though, coming into Monday morning because so many stocks, I believe, are going to start, they're going to see shorts covering across the board now. This was a massive level we had to get above. The only thing we want to see now, and it's happening as we speak, is ES breaking this point because I said Nasdaq is leading, which it is. But ES is trying to break out SPY, the S&P, and you're pretty illiquid back into basically almost 4,500. So these are all levels we will be watching. But again, what is the one big key indicator here is Apple. Apple tends to give us a leading indicator on the SPY. If the SPY is lagging or kind of stagnant, but this Apple is ripping and moving up and XLK is as well, typically SPY will follow those names. Now, traditionally, we want to follow the indexes, but if Nasdaq's ripping and tech is ripping, but the S&P is just kind of stagnant, I trust those more than I do actually trust the S&P at that point. That's hard to understand. Comment down below. I'll try to break that down in a simpler form if I need to, or maybe even in Sunday's video, Saturday's video, whatever day I decide to post that. So make sure you're prepared there. I'm not going to do too many names that I'm going over here, but I do want to highlight some things that I've been mentioning here. And again, CRM is going to be on the list of names that I'll mention tomorrow or Sunday, right? AMD. You know, I've been mentioning AMD and AVGO a lot, and I don't want to come across as arrogant and boasting in what we traded, best trader ever, whatever, things like that. But I want to highlight why we were looking at these, why we saw the opportunity, and ultimately why we made money on these types of trades, right? So AMD, for instance, was for March 15th. Plenty of time, far out. Wasn't risky, in my opinion, at all. It just wasn't. And the trades that we were looking at, we edit these back down to the 115s. I wanted those, they were out of the money at the time, right out of the money, but almost near in the money. You know, these are already at 1,500. They were almost $1,000 when we mentioned them. So almost 50% of upside. Now, I'm not saying to hold that long or risk it for the biscuit or take every trade mentioned here, but understand why we're looking at these. Ask questions down below. Like, start to do some initiative to get better and to work on your craft. These are things that you need to be focusing on your own as well. AVGO. Now, this is going to make some people sick, and I apologize in advance because, you know, even I didn't anticipate this type of movement here. When we look at AVGO, probably some of my best work maybe of all time. And there's more names I could go on the list about, but I just want to do this. This is a quick example to demonstrate why we're looking at these and the opportunity here. What we were looking at here was the 920s when we were at 870 beginning of the week. If you don't believe me, go look back at the on the channel, specifically when we were at locally the 873 mark on AVGO. Just go look at that day. Okay, go back real quick. Sorry. Yeah, these are just insanity, dude. You're gonna be sick to your stomach because again, I am sick to my stomach when we look at these. Right? Edit really quick. We'll go to the December 15th, the 920 calls. Again, these were all mentioned here on the channel. Continue. They went from about $2,000 to almost $7,000 on these. Again, a riskier position, like I mentioned, but they were there for you. Don't know what else to say. It was on Twitter as well. So all I'm saying here is do your own work when you come to the channel, but also try to understand why we're looking at certain things. Don't just take it as, oh, well, Tyler said it, I need to follow it. You know, meet me in the middle, ask questions, you know, do your due diligence, everything in between. The newsletter link is down below. I forgot to go over it. Jay's gonna kill me, but again, a lot of this stuff is in there for absolutely free as well. So make sure you're subscribed. The link is down below. You need to be tapping in every single week. Sunday, this is released at 10:30 a.m. 10:30 a.m. Central. So make sure you're ready for that as well. Coming out Sunday. Well, again, we'll have a video coming out as well this week, in which we usually don't do, but check it out. Chart Prime link down below. Options AI link down below. I'll see you guys on Monday. Have a good one, traders.